Well, I'll miss the patients. You know, anybody who's practiced for a long time comes to appreciate that you've developed these unique relationships with people. I'll miss the patients, and I'll miss a lot of the people that I work with. We have terrific staff here who've made it all work. You know, without them, it couldn't work. And so those are things I'll miss. But to be honest with you, I'm looking forward to it. Maybe I'll change my tune a year out, but I'm looking forward to not having to come to work every day. And I'm looking forward to having my own time, you know, to do what I want to do.
Some of my best memories are not in the exam room. They were in the operating room. And I haven't been in the operating room in a long time, but I have great memories from Mercy State Street and here, Orthopedic Surgery Center. It's very tense and stressful in there, but we seem to make it fun. And how that happened was a lot of music, and we shared bringing in CDs and different types of music and different radio stations and a little bit of dancing here and there. So there's always good music to help us and great conversation. I'll always remember some of the greatest conversations are when the patients were asleep and we were just in a quiet spot of the surgery, and it definitely mattered who the anesthesiologist was because we would go off on tangents.
I do remember those times when Doug would come by and he'd be like, I've got this patient. I want them well taken care of. What can we do? And just that enthusiasm and that care for the patient has always stood out for me. Thank you for all the good work you've done for the people of Maine, for conceptualizing OA and making it a reality, and as a result, really serving the people and providing them with excellent orthopedic care.
He's a cord manager, and whenever his cords were off the field, he needed pipe cleaners to keep them in order. He liked to be warm, so he always kept, one of my memories is he always kept his sweaters in our blanket warmer to stay warm in between surgeries. Just meticulous about everything that he did in surgery and out. And he was a label maker too. He loved to label things, so he owned a label maker. He owned a lotion warmer, so his hands were kept warm in between. He was worried about that, but lots of good memories. He loved to play music in the OR, and we listened to a lot of different kinds of music.
All right, so Dr. Brown and I have worked together for over 10 years, and I've worked with him in the OR. And part of our OR experience is cord management, and Dr. Brown perfected cord management. We have all these cords that need to maintain sterility to take care of our patients. Dr. Brown's twisty ties, as I call them. Sterile. This equipment would be sterile. We would take a twisty tie, measure out the proper amount of cord, twisty tie the ends together, and hand off the rest to be hooked up to the equipment. Dr. Brown, cord management will never be the same again. Thank you for what you've done for us.
I was not a coffee drinker. Where I came from, having shaky hands wasn't it. You didn't want that, you're taking care of patients. But he loved cappuccino, and he bought a fancy cappuccino machine. It was down in the surgery center. And every day he would bring me like a cappuccino, a big mug of coffee. And I wanted to fit in. I wanted him to think I was like the right pick for his person. So now, sadly, I have this horrible coffee addiction. I have to have a cup of coffee every day, and I look back and think, okay, thanks a lot. That's one thing that I have to take away from him. But that was a funny moment. Everybody would look at me and I'm like drinking it like it was medicine, and everybody else was jealous because they wanted him to bring them the big frothy, barista-made cappuccinos.
A lot comes to mind when I think back with Dr. Brown. I mean, I've been with OA since early in my career. I've been actually with OA for majority of it, all but about a half a year. So Dr. Brown was one of the physicians when I first started that essentially kind of took me under his wing. I remember, all the time kind of going next door. He was really good at the handoff, bringing me into a room, introducing me to a patient, and then me taking that patient over, and that's just kind of the OA way in regards to how we had that patient-centered care and that nice handoff from physician to therapist. Patients rave about him. They've always loved him. I have a patient right now. He wanted to make sure to have surgery before he retired.
Me coming in to really kind of fill his shoes as he winds down into retirement. I mean, I don't think I could fill shoes like that. Those are much too big. He's just been a tremendous asset for me. It's been invaluable, really, for starting my career. It's not easy, coming into a place where you don't know anybody, and he's kind of made that transition quite easy for me. And now for him, as far as what his next step, now I think, he can focus on his second profession, which in my opinion would be the superstar barista that he is. The guy has more knowledge about coffee than I think orthopedic sports medicine. He's got this coffee maker at his house that, it looks like a NASA control center. It's got handles and dials and like all this different stuff. And, he's essentially ruined Folgers or Maxwell House for me. You've ruined regular coffee for me, Doug.
Dr. Brown, I'd like to congratulate you on your upcoming retirement. You will be sadly missed at OA. I think back to 25 years of referring patients to you and hearing their wonderful stories about how caring and attentive you were. And I will remember the smell of your cologne wafting through my office with your beautiful leather bags. And that memory will last on for me for many, many, many years. And in all seriousness, you're a wonderful surgeon and provided outstanding care to every patient that you saw.
One of the things I really remember and appreciate about Dr. Brown is just his entrepreneurship, his foresight in seeing the value of establishing an independent practice and the benefit that could bring to medicine as a whole, orthopedics, and certainly the patients of Maine. Thank you so much for all your efforts through the years. I'm sure there's been a lot of personal sacrifice that many of us are not aware of. And I appreciate the practice you've built, the expectations you've set for patients.
The first recollection of Doug was back when we were on Lowell Street. And I was a newbie, and he was so excited about moving into this building and everything that it represented. It still had a giant blue tarp on the roof line, and the Clarion Hotel wasn't there at the time, so we could see it. We had a direct, come here, come into the office, let me show you. This is where we're going. Want to get a hard hat on and go see? So his passion for the organization and for where he was leading it was infectious.
He left during lunch. He forgot to ask me to freeze his schedule, and then he did come back. He came back and saw them, and then he left for lunch after that. But it was kind of chaotic for a little second there, but we made it work.
Dr. Brown always had the munchies, so he'd always come over, and we always had a special snack drawer, and he would always come over and would always have different flavors of popcorn in it. I just want to wish him the best. He is a wonderful person, and he's amazing with his patients.
I have always admired all that you've done in your life as a physician and a surgeon. You're just, all that you've done is should be highly respected by everybody around you. Your accomplishments, it's like a list long of everything you've done. It's pretty impressive. I'm so going to miss you, and seeing you here in the halls. It's just going to be strange not having you here. You're like the institution here. And I'm really going to miss our hallway hugs. I hope that you enjoy every second of your life post-OA, because you so deserve it. And just know I loved you then, love you still, always will, and I'll miss you.
I cannot believe that you have had 36 years of an amazing career, and I'm sure that tonight you're going to hear a whole boatload of stories about how amazing you are. One of the things that I remember fondly about you is having you stand in front of our staff and talk about all of the accomplishments that OA has had over the years, where we started and how far we've come, and that's a huge testament to you and to your accomplishments. And you have always been the epitome of quality, and you've put your patients first, and you've also put your staff first, and for that we greatly appreciate your contributions to this organization, and you'll be greatly missed.
I think it was every day seeing his celery and cream cheese on his desk, or going to the break room and seeing the peanut butter and crackers sitting there. So that would make me laugh. He and I crossed paths years ago, so it was interesting that several years down the road, I ended up being his clinical assistant. So
Dr. Brown, what can I say? We started back in 1996 at Portland High School. You were my team physician and taught me the ropes of sports medicine in Maine and how it should be, and I thank you for that. And the way you took care of the kids, wow, you did so much for them. Whether it was me running over here to your office at 5 o'clock at night for a dislocated finger, calling up asking to get somebody in that day for a boo-boo, but they were actually gonna make it. 175 Friday night football games that we were able to stand on the sidelines together and eat whoopie pies and pizza and drink Coke and talk about everything but football. And then work into here. You brought me here to your organization 6 years ago, and it's been a wonderful ride. You've definitely taught me a lot, mentored me a lot, and it's been a pleasure, and I thank you.
I'd like to see it continue doing what they're doing now and improving, of course. I think the multi-subspecialty orthopedic group, with everybody working together toward a common goal, and to provide high-quality care for people, one-stop shopping. If they can continue doing that in the face of all the competitive challenges and other challenges that are out there, that would be great.